Hi, Anna.
Hey, how's it going?
It's all right.
Good,
How you doing?
good. Getting by?
Sounds like it's a crazy time of year for you too, huh?
What's new, He wasn't doing too many things, not the
Yeah.
time. How about you? How are things over there?
Ooh,
Same?
the same. Yeah, every time I think things are gonna calm down, it's like, whoa,
Yeah,
something
right.
brand new. It takes the front stage. It's like, oh,
Totally.
okay.
Totally. Yep. Yeah. No rest for the weary.
That's for
Evening.
sure.
I'm not sure if
Hi.
we're going to see Frank tonight because he has not sent any minutes to review.
Ah,
So I'm not sure.
I just got a email from him. A week ago, I updated the spreadsheet and shared it with the committee. The link below is the corrected sheet. If you opened an old link, it may have been XXX building assessment copy, which was my working copy. I guess he's not going to be here tonight.
Yeah, I just sent him an email just saying meeting in 2 minutes.
I think, did he tell us, or maybe, did he tell me? He stopped by looking for information on something. Huh. I don't know. It sounds like he's not coming though.
Well,
Maybe he is.
I think he's got something, a pottery show coming up because
Yeah.
we had talked about possibly connecting this past weekend. And he said he became concerned about, his work. So he was, I think, firing things this weekend. But, that's what I know.
Okay. And I know Steve will be here shortly. He's
Okay.
hanging out on not 030. He's trying to ask some questions, follow-up questions at a
Okay.
site visit.
Okay. Well, we have a quorum. This is being recorded, so Frank will be able to access it for the minutes from this meeting.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
here he
here's
is.
Frank.
Great.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Frank.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Frank.
Hello.
All right. Well, since Steve's going to be a little late, I'll call this meeting to order at 5:32. So Frank, I'm assuming you didn't have a chance to get to the minutes?
I
Did
can't
I
hear it.
send you what you needed, Frank?
Hello, I'm sorry. My earphones didn't work. I didn't get it. I just had to turn those off. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
I'm assuming we don't have any minutes?
Not today, no.
And I was wondering, I just wanted to be sure, did I send you what you needed? I might not have. I
No.
didn't, so it's my fault.
It's been a week. No, it's my fault too. It's been a week and a half. I'm about to load 2 large pottery kilns Friday and Saturday, and I'm overwhelmed with work right now. So I'm doing 10 hours a day at the pottery. So it all ends tomorrow, and then I take off Friday. So it's all good.
Okay.
I'll catch
I
up
hope that
next
goes
week.
well.
I do too.
And Becky, did you get the info I sent you about the filter, sediment filter?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I have not followed up on it at this point.
Well, I was wondering, is that something you want to follow up on, or should we participate in that?
If you want it to happen sooner than later. Yes.
Well, how bad is the sediment problem at Town Hall?
We haven't noticed it. But I think our lines are all jammed up and I don't know. I really don't know.
Do you have the water tested every year, Becky?
For different reasons, I've had it tested about every other year. Town Hall has PFAS, so
Okay.
it
Yeah,
has
just regular.
PFAS testing.
So you're getting a filter for that, right?
We got a filter for that.
Is
Yeah.
that hooked up?
Yes.
So that should take care of everything, because that should have some type of sediment filter before it, because I'm sure they don't want the sediment filling up the PFAS filter.
They are not installing sediment filters. If people have them in the line, they remain, but we're not paying for sediment filters for everybody.
I know, I'm just talking about Town Hall. In other words.
Yeah.
Let's go backwards. Does
I think it's,
the
I bet
filters that we're installing, or the one that was installed in Town Hall to get the PFAS, is it hindered or does it matter in other words, does a not having a sediment filter matter? Good question.
you want the sediment filter to be after the poet. I think. Yeah, because they sorry,
Well,
but
I love that. I
guys,
love that. I love that. The poet.
well, you've got the poet filter, the carbon filter
Yep.
in line, and the objective has been to put them to put them more directly in line with the upcoming. So after, I mean, you want the sediment filter to be after the poet is the way they've been installing them. So hopefully,
Okay, that's great, but that sediment doesn't involve anything. The sediment's going to back up into their filter. That's all, is that what they recommended?
they did not say anything about a sediment filter. They just said, oh, good, you don't have one. Because they didn't have to work around it.
Okay. What does POET stand for?
Point of entry treatment system. So it's point of entry treatment system that's for poets.
It's not a seat up in Turner's Falls either, wherever that is. Greenfield,
No, it's not the top of the mountain.
right? It's the only other place I've heard around here. I'll just ask questions about that. It just seems odd to me. Because if you're paying, because those filters aren't cheap, are they?
No. But so you want to be able to test the water without another filter on the water. That's the reasoning. So we need to be able to test the influent that as it comes in, we need to test that raw without it being filtered. And that's the reasoning.
Okay.
And it's a big, huge carbon filter. It stands
I
on.
saw it. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
So when or how frequently is that serviced?
The filter,
Yeah,
the
the
new
poet.
poets will be checking on them. I think you have to do water tests quarterly for the first year.
So that
And we've already
establishes
done,
a baseline.
I'm sorry?
That establishes sort of a
Yes.
baseline.
Yes. And then hopefully after that, we'll be able to test annually.
And do the filters last years and years, or do they tell you how often the town has to replace them?
The LSP, Jeffrey Arps, who's handling Shutesbury's PFAS, had a huge case in Princeton, and he found that the poets, they didn't have any bleed through with 3-year-old poets.
Great. Okay,
The
good.
size that he's having us put in. We did have a breakthrough with a smaller unit that we put in 2021, and we had a breakthrough when it was just about 20 months old. But it was a smaller unit, and that's why he encouraged the larger units and why the worst cases are getting double units.
Okay. Hey, Steve.
Yes. Oh. Okay, I didn't know if there was any need for us to discuss those roof replacement estimates for the elementary school that you sent out to us, Becky?
Yes, I would love to get your reactions to them. I know it's hard, and I want to give you the update I got from Chris Musso this morning.
Based on the update from Chris, that's the lowest, there's a term for it, qualified bidder or something like that.
The lowest responsible bidder,
Responsible bidder, that was it, responsible,
qualified and responsible.
as opposed to unresponsible. Okay, so under the law, we have to, unless they find something wrong, we have to take them. Right?
Yes,
And from what Chris is saying, they're not finding anything wrong.
not yet,
based
but
on-
when I called this morning, they were pretty concerned because they had reached out to the references on, I think Friday, it could have been Monday, but as of this morning, they hadn't heard from any of the references they had called.
Well, I
But-
thought from the email, they got 2 out of 3.
Yes, then he emailed this afternoon to update me that they did hear back from 2 out of 3.
Okay. And do I have to get references from all 3 or
Yes,
we do? Okay.
And which
Before we can
bid,
move,
which
Hmm?
bid is this?
the lowest bid,
Oh,
Mike's or something like that?
319.
Mike's Construction.
Is that something
Yeah.
like 319,000?
yeah. I should have that up. Does everyone have that? Did I,
Think I have it.
very strange, when I went to look for it, I can't find what I sent you guys. But that was on Thursday or Friday last week.
Oh, I thought it was before that.
It could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was the 17th. It was on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have it.
Okay, good.
Now, where is Mike's from?
Dudley, Mass.
Where's that?
Towards Boston, isn't it? I
Yeah.
think.
Okay. Okay.
And they were one of the 2 people, the 2 lowest bidders both came to the site visit.
Okay.
You said came on the 17th?
It could have been the 18th.
That's weird. I'm having trouble finding it too.
Actually, Dudley, Mass is south
Oh.
of Sturbridge. And
I just found it. Sorry.
It's on the Connecticut border. Near 395.
Okay.
Way out there. Well, south of Worcester, so.
It's not that far.
It's not too far. I mean,
Mhm.
just south of Sturbridge, so.
And the interesting thing that Chris asked him, and I think it's in the email, I'm sorry, I didn't forward his last email. He said that Mike, who owns the company, is comfortable with his pricing.
Right, yeah. So way I'm interpreting is if Chris gets the 3rd response, then we go with Mike's. And if it's positive, I mean,
Right.
we have no reason to reject it.
And that's where, yeah. I would sometimes just go online and see if I could find another reference that wasn't a canned reference. Or one that was written, which is, just searching for that vendor doing a project. It's just sometimes it is unnerving when they're that much lower. I mean, he's half of what he's less than half the highest quote.
Okay.
That is a little scary.
Makes you think they're not quoting the same thing. Like someone's either over or understood the scope.
Right.
And both Mike and the other gentleman, the other company were up on the roof. They took a wheel up there. They measured everything. It's just, you just get nervous about the prevailing wage calculations.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
So what do you mean by that, Becky?
That they are required to use prevailing wage.
Well, that I understand now, but when you say about the calculation, you mean that they
Oh,
didn't
because they
calculate the
might have,
number of hours?
yeah,
correctly?
you just worry that they
Like
didn't.
use the
fully-
wrong rate or something.
Yeah,
or-
use the wrong rate or
Right.
cross-referenced it to a different rate or a different category or used a custodian salary, instead of a carpenter salary or something. I'm sure they most likely didn't, but it just, I had a bid for the hers, this old schoolhouse on the corner of West Pelham. We had one bid in that batch that it was like a quarter of the rest of the bids. And I had to go back and forth with him for a few days till he finally understood, because if we had accepted his bid, he couldn't have completed the work. It would have been a roiled battle.
But his references that were submitted to the engineering Gale, they were for these type of commercial jobs, I assume.
They were exact asphalt roofs. I mean, they were identical to what
For towns and stuff like that. Yeah,
I
so,
think
I mean,
one was a private company. No, they weren't all municipal. And I should go back through the bids. I'll do that tonight. If I can. Where is,
I mean, the three lowest bids aren't that far apart, 362, 369, and 413. And then they get astronomically high, right down to the 841. Stanley really wanted the job. Yeah, Stanley and JD&D and out of Webster. 737 and 841 are ridiculous.
the only contractor I had heard of before was Rivet. They had done some work on the school about 10 years ago. Jeff, did you know any of the vendors on that list?
Only JD Rivet,
Yeah.
and I've done work with Rivet. But not
even-
shingles.
Even 362 to 492. It's not like Rivet's got, 160 in overhead and profit in there. Like even that spread feels like they're thinking they're different projects.
Yeah. And yeah, I
Yeah.
think when it's apparent that this company doesn't waste a lot of money on fancy trucks and equipment.
Sure. Mhm.
When
This
they
is
showed
Mike.
up, it was an unmarked pickup truck or van
Mhm.
and
Sure.
Well, I find it positive that, the two low bidders were the ones that came and actually measured, the roof, looked at the roof. I mean, and have a much better chance of understanding what they're getting involved with,
right.
which would,
Yeah.
in my mind, allow them to make a tighter estimate.
Mhm. Agreed.
Yeah, one of the questions that became an amendment, I think, was about disposal of the shingles. They were inquiring because I guess they're gonna shovel the shingles into the courtyard. And the question was, can we then just, wheelbarrow the shingles out the front door? Or do we have to hire a crane to come in and remove all the shingles? And you can imagine that's going to be a huge cost difference.
Mhm.
So if others weren't, if others just assumed a crane, it would have been a lot more money, I would assume.
And how did we respond to that question?
We said that they could go out. I talked to Jackie and Jackie said, as long as they're Cory checked, they could go out the front door. They could go down the hallway.
As long as they're Cory checked.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be interesting, some of these roofers to be Cory checked, okay.
The Cory doesn't pick up everything you think it would. I Cory check everybody because we have co-op students from Smith Voc. And
Mhm.
people will confess things before we put the check in, and then the check will come back clear. So it's
Hmm.
it's not all crimes, just certain crimes.
So what's Cory check? Is this
Yeah,
for
what's Cory check?
past felonies?
It is, yeah. I don't know what the
It doesn't
acronym
have to
stands
be a
for.
felony. It can be, anything on your record, like DUIs, that sort of, and so it could be smaller things, not felonies, but we have to Cory check anybody that's a substitute at the library. Everyone at the school has to be Cory checked. I've got a crew in for Green Communities right now doing the LED fixture replacements and everything, and they all had to be Cory checked.
And how do you spell that?
Capital C, capital O, capital R, capital I. I don't know what the acronym stands for.
Okay.
Criminal,
Was that in the contract too?
oh yeah,
Okay. Standard for the school. Okay, interesting.
Well, I'd say this is promising considering we were, estimating or figuring maybe 500,000 for the job.
well, 500 plus a 10% contingency would have been 550,000. So this we could do for closer to
400.
400, yeah.
Don't forget our change order contingency.
Mhm.
I'm adding, is 10% still enough with this lower number, Jeff?
If it was me, I'd go with 12 to 15,
Okay,
since we got a little.
why not?
Yeah, if we don't spend it, then
Oh, no, yeah.
we can put it towards the siding. Cause I got some numbers on that. Becky's gonna have a heart attack.
Oh,
How many heart attacks can I have a week? Okay, so that's 1, 0. Okay, so that would be 38,000. Which is exactly 400.
Hey,
Nice. Wow, that means. Oh, how do we deal with that? I guess I've never had to deal with extra money.
Las Vegas, baby, Las Vegas.
I guess we could, because we have $500,000 for this project. Oh, so we'll have to just put it towards what Jeff is going to propose next.
Right.
Okay,
I think this goes to show that hiring the Gale engineer really worked. If this thing goes smoothly and everything goes forward, that hiring an engineer to do a complete scope on the business was well worth the $60,000.
sure.
So if we run into a problem with the 500,000, just say our change order contingency is $130,000.
Under promise, over deliver,
And I think the economy is getting a little softer too. I mean,
Yeah,
you look at those two high,
changes.
those two high bids are like people that are still working.
Well, I think it's also those firms, they probably got enough work already, so they also
Yeah.
bid high thinking, well, what the hell, we'll try.
Yeah,
If the
Yeah.
Ipswich folks are really coming from if the crew's coming from Ipswich, I could understand their budget, including like hotel and travel expenses, you know,
Yeah.
where, you know, someone a little
Yeah.
closer to driving in each day.
Yep.
Or maybe
Even
not
with-
paying that, you know, paying mileage.
Mhm.
with Cape Way that did the gym roof, they drove in, I believe they didn't stay overnight pretty much. They pieced out parts of the job and maybe a couple guys were here a few for the week, but I think they were traveling.
Mhm.
But the unfortunate thing was I called Cape Way construction because I thought, using bid docs that everybody would be seeing the bid. So, and I had had an exchange with Cape Way, but it was with the secretary, and it turned out she never informed the Rob, who does the contracts or does the bids, that we were going out to bid for the rest of the roof. So
Oh,
he was out of the country, he said, and they just didn't even know it was happening, and they felt bad because I thought they were really good to work with, so I was disappointed they hadn't bid.
Mhm.
But
Yep. You had Ipswich and Buzzards Bay, so Cape Cod builders. They were low
well, it
enough.
wasn't Cape Cod Builders, it was Cape Way,
I realize that. I'm just saying that would, Anna said something about,
right?
housing and stuff like that. They're from far. They're all from far, but Cape Way would have been fun because they had a history, so.
yeah.
But I bet they wouldn't have been the low bidder.
Mm.
I mean, they were on the gym project, but we didn't have this many bidders.
Okay, you think we're done with the
Yeah,
school?
so I guess the last question would be, because we're gonna town meeting will come before this group will meet again. And I'm hoping to put in the number on the article. At this point, it might be 0. But I have a warrant article for the asphalt roof, not knowing where the pricing was gonna fall. We had the 500 with Jeff's 10% contingency. We would have needed 50,000 more. And if if this bid is good, we aren't going to need any more, and we'll just pass over the article.
Mhm.
So do you guys want to vote or make a recommendation on which to approve? You really wouldn't want to, I guess, until we have a recommendation from the engineers.
Yeah, but no, we won't have another meeting. We won't have another meeting before town meeting. So how
Right.
about if we make a motion that we accept, what's the name of the company? The low bidder,
Mike's
Mike's
Construction.
Mike's. We accept Mike's construction, roofing, provided that all the documentation and references are in line.
Okay,
How's that? Does that
that's
work?
the motion. I'll second
I'll
that
make
one.
that motion, yeah.
Okay, roll call vote, the Cook,
Okay.
McGinn,
Again, I.
Quackenbush,
Quackenbush, aye.
Sullivan,
Sullivan, I.
Almus, aye. Okay. That'll be nice.
Yep.
Okay, so next item, discuss finding a consulting firm to develop specifications for rotted wood replacement and painting exterior of Shutesbury Elementary School. Jeff, I guess you've got something to say.
So I talked to Cole, and they misunderstood what I was asking for. They thought we were talking about replacing all of the wood siding on the whole building.
Mhm.
And so if that were the case, they're saying we should carry a construction cost of 700,000. And their design fee would be around 50 to 60,000. So I told Cole yesterday, no, we don't want to replace all the siding, we want to replace the damaged siding. So I'm gonna go tomorrow or Saturday down to the school and try to make a guesstimate of what percentage of the siding I think would need to be replaced. And maybe then we could factor the 700,000 for the whole building down to. Let's take a guesstimate that a third of the siding on the building has to be replaced. So I'll talk to Cole to see if that's the case, then. Can we use a third of the 700,000? But knowing that, and then their design fee isn't gonna change, I don't think. So that's what I got.
So the design fee again, approximately, was that 50?
50 to 60.
So that's 300,000.
Could be.
233 potential, if we can use 30%.
If we can use 30, I don't know if that's right or not.
Yeah, it
I
might.
mean, you guys have seen the building. I don't think it's more than a third.
I don't think it's more than a third.
My wife and I went up to the school. I don't know if maybe it was last weekend. There was this invasive plant workshop. So I was kind of looking, myself around the building a little bit. And the worst area is that south side, and it's mostly the trim. Like there's a trim board that runs along the entire base, and then there are vertical trim boards at the corners or corner boards that come all the way down. A lot of those are rotted, especially at the base. And that's sort of the most significant area. There are other spots, but I would be surprised if it's even a third, But Jeff, I don't know when you're thinking on Saturday. I'd be glad to work on that with you.
Okay.
We could email back and forth the time. I mean, I'm available in the morning for sure, if that would work for you.
So let's tentatively set it for 9 o'clock Saturday morning.
Okay.
Because I'm a morning person.
That's coffee break. That's not morning. Sorry, I had to say it. You kind of teed that up for me there.
That was good.
Even on a Saturday?
Yeah, Japan, yeah. You're right.
I often hit the highway department at coffee break around 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
But they're doing a 10-hour day, so they start early, right, Steve? Yeah.
He's cooking dinner.
Nice.
Yeah, we still have, I still want to try to get a proposal from, what's her name up in Greenfield.
Right.
Yeah, I can
not
see
Marcos.
them. Used
What
to
is
be
it?
Margot Jones Whitsitt.
Yeah, they do nice work. Do you think you'll be able to get a quote from them?
Yeah, they said that they would be interested, but not till fall.
Oh, good.
And I told Gail that, we would be looking to, to start the design process in the fall and bid in the winter.
So had we originally thought we might be able to do this design part for closer to 30, or was that just wishful thinking?
That was a wish, well, they can do the design part for 30. But if we want them to be there to do construction observation, then they need another 30,000 to cover their trips out here.
Yeah, that's why Margot, Jones might be cheaper. They don't have to travel as far, maybe.
Who knows?
Okay. But we definitely will have to come up with another significant amount of money. All right,
Plus the leftover from what we're doing now. We'll be
That's-
able to pocket that, so it'll be all good.
So let's assume that minimally it's going to be 30,000. If we get the Greenfield firm, maybe, if we're lucky, it's 30 to do design and construction inspections. So let's assume that. So if I remember correctly, when I talked with you recently, Becky, after the windows are installed, we'll have what, 15,000? No, less than 15.
about 14,000.
That's what we'll have left.
15.
Yeah. So, if we ask for another 20 at town meeting, and we do get this for 30,000, that only leaves us with another 4,000 for any other projects.
Right.
So I'm wondering if we should ask for more.
Well, at this
Well,
point, so I apologize, but the warrant is set at this
Oh.
point
For 20.
for 20.
Okay. All right.
And I don't think we should go into this thinking that Jones Wits is gonna be at 30.
Mhm.
But it's possible.
I
Yeah,
think we
Oh, I believe in small numbers.
That's also,
And
it's also
miracles.
possible. Yeah, it's also possible that the government may actually come to a debt resolution.
Yeah.
Yeah, uh-huh, uh-huh.
But I think also if we have the track record that we have 500 for the roof system that's already aside, and if we come in way under budget there, and we need to come up with an extra $20,000, whatever the difference is going to be, that will be the responsibility of capital and finance, correct, Becky? And without,
We will go back for this part of the project to them.
right, and then they might be able to creatively come up with something saying we can use the money, extra money, or do they always have to have a warrant for extra money?
Okay,
I mean,
so the way it's separated, just, I know this. Capital planning reviews the project and the costs and stuff, and if they find it to be a solid project, they vote it. And it moves to the finance committee for funding decisions. So capital planning does not address any funding decisions.
Okay.
And that'll be finance committee.
So the
And-
finance committee could say, rob Peter to pay Paul to pay for the engineering on it, or do we have to go to another special special warrant for that part?
The question will be if we can use a portion of the $100,000 left over to complete, because it's basically completing the school roof job.
Right.
I mean, well, it's not, I mean, what are we calling this, painting job? It's so much more than painting. It's
It's restoring the school to it's restoring the school up to what we think it should be, because it's one of our biggest assets in town.
so it's wood restoration and painting.
Yep.
I like to use the term envelope improvement.
Ah, yeah, envelope.
Nice.
That way nobody will know what that means.
improvement.
Did you ask if we knew what that meant?
No, that's just a trick we used at UMass where the faculty could never figure out what the hell's that mean.
Envelope and painting. That could even include painting, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Flagpoles, a whole bunch of things, whatever's about the envelope.
Sidewalks. We could finish
Yeah.
replacing sidewalks.
We've got to get back to the sidewalks, but the highway department is in charge of horizontal, right, Jeff?
chapter 30, chapter 30.
Chapter 30. Okay.
We're doing chapter 149.
See? I could have told Bob, that's another one I could have said. All right. Sidewalks we can do next, but that'll be highway. Okay, this sounds very hopeful. I think hopefully the low bidder is very competent and responsible. And that'll make the Jeff's terrifying numbers more palatable. And achievable.
So are you gonna contact, I mean, let's assume that Chris is able to come through with another positive response. Then are you gonna contact the lowest bidder and say, you know, we think we're gonna go with you once after town meeting? So they know that not to go bid on everything else?
Yeah, I think Chris said this morning that they prepare the award letter and they'll send that to me to sign, and then we would send them the award letter, so that would, but it'll have to have the words contingent upon the town meeting funding. No, it won't,
No,
because we already have the money.
right.
It's 400,000. We don't even need town meeting.
Right.
Well, we're all gonna go anyway.
Yep.
Okay, so we could be signing up these guys this week or next.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I'll still need the select board to sign the contract, so that could be
Yeah.
done. They could have a special meeting if that's the only obstacle holding them up. But they still can't start till school closes, so we can,
Well,
Yeah,
they
but
still have to
somebody,
they have to order everything and, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's, yeah, who picks the color of the shingles?
we didn't dictate that?
No. To
What
be
are the
selected,
options?
huh?
What are the options?
Well,
old
the
building committee-
contractor will tell us whose shingles they want to use, but you know, we'll get to select within a range.
Okay.
I think it should be the head of the building committee.
Stephen is,
To select the color?
Yeah, we're gonna vote on
Yeah.
that? Jeff, should we vote on that?
Yeah, if we don't like it, we can say, well, guess who picked that?
They'll be run out of town on a rail.
the old building committee they were so great. They used to always let me pick colors.
We mustn't be great.
No, you
That's
guys are
a
awesome.
two-edged-
You guys are awesome.
That's a
So,
two-edged sword.
so we can, all right, Stephen, in case we come down to a crunch on the color, it looks like you're our guy.
Okay,
All right.
I will, my wife is my go-to color consultant, so she and I will gladly assume that responsibility.
Wonderful.
I had
I
a
know
commercial
you-
job where they specified like the line, but not the color. And they were like, just pick whatever you want. And so the architect and I decided we would pick the one with the most absurd color name. And so there is some offices at Amherst College with a cephalopod colored carpet.
What color is cephalopod?
I mean, what a big sea squid evokes, the color evoked by that. I don't remember, it's just some generic commercial, hodgepodgey color.
That's funny.
So while we're still in town meeting, I've been working a little bit on a short presentation. I figure short is best without getting into excessive detail. But one question is, do I introduce the committee? Each
That would be
member?
wonderful. Yeah.
Okay. And
Jeff, did you say no?
Yes,
do you want to introduce a motion, Jeff?
I motion we run you out of town on a rail.
Damn.
You need the building committee already.
Serious.
All right. So, yes, I think that would be wonderful. If
Okay.
you would,
Yeah,
Stephen.
Um,
And
yeah,
Jeff
you
can
can use
always
our name.
hide.
So one quick question. So the building committee, was it disbanded? I mean, what I've written so far is that, in the late summer of 2022, the town building committee was reestablished.
Yeah, with a new charge. I would say reestablish
Well,
through,
then I say the
passage of a new
select
bylaw.
board made a specific request of the new committee that the committee provide condition reports on all the buildings. The purpose of these reports is to allow the town to become proactive and to prioritize the maintenance, repair, and replacement of building components.
That's right on.
Okay. And, I briefly talk about how, first couple of months we worked on getting the spreadsheet developed. And at this point in time, we've completed inspections of the library, the Hearst House, and the Dam Keepers building. We're still inspecting Town Hall. We performed partial inspections at the school, the DPW, and the Old Town Hall. And we've identified a number of priority items. One, the extensive rot and decay of wood trim material on the elementary school, especially the rear of the building, other areas of rotted fascia and da-da-da. And then number two is the corrugated metal roof on the DPW, which is leaking. 3 is the roof shingles on the Dam Keepers building. And 4 is the rotted door sill at Old Town Hall.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's enough. I mean, could probably add other things, but I'm
No,
assuming
that's great. That
that's
gives-
enough, to sort of get our 20,000. Right?
Yeah,
That's-
sincere, I think you're listing about 300,000 or 400,000.
Right. Well, plus it should hopefully satisfy Mr. Graves. Right? He said he
well-
wanted a list, right?
Right. He
So-
wanted a list, not from me, but from the
Right.
building.
Okay. All right.
Sounds good.
Okay. I guess we could look at the Hearst House and maybe the Dam Keeper's house and assign some action levels. They're pretty simple buildings, and I think I've got everything inputted,
Great.
So I think,
Who needs, who's
well,
gonna
Frank
share?
can bring it up.
And Stephen, I hope this is okay, but the link, I had to use the link for another meeting at 6:30, so hopefully that still
What
gives
time
us
is it?
enough time. It's 6:17.
Well, we'll spend our
Time we
13
got.
minutes, right?
There we are.
Actually, I think the
You think what, Steve?
well, at the Hearst House, I mean, the only, I think, real issue there was the stain on the exterior is peeling and flaking.
Yeah,
But I guess going back up to the roof, I guess then that would just get the monitor
Yep.
for the shingles and the soffit fascia, the wood, that would also just get monitor. Because that was stained. No, there's no flashing.
oh,
It's the soffit fascia wood, 1.5. There are no gutters and downspouts.
no gutters, that's true.
No underground leaders.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Okay.
So then the action level and the stain.
In the past, Becky, haven't volunteers done stuff like this?
Volunteers did paint the Hers house in the last round. I think that it made me aware that the difference when you ask volunteers to do a construction project, it will be done on their timetable and their schedule. And I think there was a delay due to travel by the person who was the couple that was volunteering.
Mhm.
And I don't think that helped the building because there was like a 2 or 3 month delay in painting, I believe. I could be wrong. So generally, I mean, it's possible to have volunteers, but it's not ideal as far as getting the work done when it needs to get done.
Okay, I was just curious. Okay.
What does the
so-
committee feel the priority level for?
I'd say priority low.
I'd say low.
I'd go for low.
Okay.
And the other issue that comes up with when volunteers do the work, you can't hold them to a specific standard as easily.
Mhm.
But this
Yeah.
building will not need Gail to do the work up on it.
Right.
Okay, and the rest is basically not applicable because there's nothing else there, so.
Was there an issue with the doors or the hardware on that building? Or
There
not?
was one loose nail or fastener on the hinge.
Yeah.
One of the hinges.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay, that's not worth the effort.
No.
No, okay.
The dam house?
Sure.
My opinion is this is more than priority low.
Oh, this is high priority.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, if they're blowing off.
Yeah.
And then the next three are not applicable.
And this building was last painted by a volunteer. I believe it was Al Springer when he was on the select board. And Sheldon, who lives across from the dam, donated the paint.
Well, I guess one question, which I think I identified at the end is, whether or not there's any older layers of paint that contain lead.
Right.
I think there's some simple tests, that you can buy from a place like Home Depot that you can apply to paint and see if they give you a reading. They're not necessarily 100% accurate, but if you used one of those and it was positive, then I think there's a good chance it is lead. And that would be something that could be easily done. But to really know, I mean, you could, sometimes if you take paint chips to a
Mhm.
lab, that does that kind of testing, they'll do the analysis. You don't have to, it's a small building. There's enough peeling paint could easily gather, find out how many chips they need in terms of, say, square inches or whatever. And
I think the other issue here is, and we brought this up last time, but Becky, you said we're probably gonna have to do an NOI.
Right.
And that could be a long process. And to do an NOI, do we have to hire a consultant to do that,
Um,
like OTO?
Having, excuse me. for a moment.
potentially, but there's hope we're gonna get some volunteers to help on things like this. Not so much volunteer. It used to be Linda Scott, who had been the Concom secretary for over 15 years. She did all the NOIs for us for town projects. She would do the paperwork, and then like if it was highway, the highway superintendent, we would write up the scope of work and then she would compile it. And I'm trying to find, I need to find someone to hire to do that for us, because I've got another NOI I have to get done just to be able to do some beaver work at a culvert. So I will hope to find how to hire somebody to do this as inexpensively as possible.
Living at the lake, we've had to file a number of NOIs, and not that I was able to deal with all of it, but I was able to do quite a bit of the preparation of the NOI in the past.
That's very helpful. So Steve's volunteering to help.
I
He's
am
picking the shingles out and he's doing the NOIs.
He's, man, he's just like that little bunny from the flashlight company. Wow.
Jack of all trades. Just open that bag, it's all in there.
master of none. Okay, so
We put
Consolidation.
low priority on the painting for right now for a
Yeah.
report. Okay.
I would go low priority. Then the next three are not applicable, the chimney and the
Mhm.
vents, skylight.
And same with this, just it's gonna be, if they're gonna do the painting, they're all gonna do the same thing at the same
Yeah.
time.
Right.
I can fill all the others in another time. There's no need to. Our last 4 minutes, 3 minutes.
Frank, I sent you an email. I noticed when I was looking at the spreadsheets tonight that when you made the changes,
Yeah.
when you have time, just look at the fire department and
I don't know if you open, I look at the fire, oh, I see what you're saying, Joyce's, yep,
all that information from, I think, the library was transferred in.
the comments weren't, but the.
No comments, no action level, but
Right.
everything under, the specific type of,
Because we had to go somewhere with that. We don't know where, yeah, so, okay, yep, we'll look at that.
so I actually, on the Dam House and the Hearst House, I backed out all of that extra stuff.
Okay, yeah. Good, okay.
So on 13.5, can we get rid of that red? Great. So if you go back up, so wait a minute, go to the mold, I'm sorry. That was back down there.
Yep.
I have to change that. So there was apparent mold on the underside of the roof sheathing. But somehow it's all the way down at the bottom.
Oh, I know, I hit the wrong button. Keep on hitting that. Okay, there.
Okay, I have to change that. I don't know how that comment got in there, but I'll correct that comment. But there's some parent mold on the underside of the sheathing. So actually that would be, I guess, I think it would be easy enough to clean it. It's not a large area. It's not
And if you put new roof shingles, it'll probably go away
No, this is inside.
inside.
This is on when you're in the building. There's no ventilation, in that building. So I think if you go to attic, you'll see where I actually commented on it and suggested.
Yeah. So, yeah, so put a low priority on that too.
Yeah. All right, it's 6:29. Becky
Okay.
needs to move on. See everybody see
mo-
everybody at
yeah.
town meeting.
Yeah, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
We have a
I'll
second.
second.
Cook,
Aye.
Aye.
in,
Aye.
Wagbush, Sullivan, down the
Aye.
side. Goodbye, everybody. See you at town meeting and see you in
Yep.
2 weeks.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, Becky. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.